Hello. Wait. I know what you're thinking. Oh god, there's a guy talking to camera. It's going to be like this for the whole half an hour. I promise you, it's not. Look at this. Look at this. Whole edity bit took a lot of time for me to do. So just stay with me. Let me go over a few points real quick and then we can get to the fancy edity bit. Okay? You still here? Cool. So, first off, I feel like I need to say before we get to the fancy edity bit that I love Overwatch. I've been playing since, I believe, the anniversary 2017. So you might not, but I consider myself to be sort of an original player. I may not have been playing during the beta, but I've still been playing long enough that I feel like my opinions are kind of valid on this subject. And I absolutely love the game. I still play it. So if that doesn't show my commitment to it, then I don't know what does. Second point is, Overwatch as a game is fine. There is nothing wrong with it. The balance is fine. Blizzard and the choices they made, they're the things that people get annoyed about. Oh, but I miss Overwatch 1, it was more balanced. I miss 6v6. No, you don't. You miss the nostalgia. From a balance perspective, but from the content side, Overwatch 1 is better. Because we were used to getting all the things for free. The new events, the new heroes, we'd unlock them all for free. But from a balance perspective, 5v5 and Overwatch 2 is better. So if you come into the game fresh to Overwatch 2, then the game is fine. You will have no issues, you'll like it. Third point is the script continuity as part of this. The third point I want to bring up is script continuity. Because I say at the start of the script, we're now a few weeks into Season 6, but then later on I go to talk about the anniversary shop. So I've been sort of working and tweaking on this script and this edit for the whole season, near enough. So I just wanted to add a few things in, sort of as they were added, just to make it a little bit more relevant. Because I started working on the script a few weeks after Season 6 had released. But as I'm recording this, I am now 4 days away from Season 7. So the continuity is going to be a little bit off, you're just going to have to ignore that. Point 4. There are going to be a lot of points in here that you've heard multiple times. The points are going to be repeated, but this is a general overview. I'm not focusing on one specific thing. And on top of that, this may feel like a rant. I go through this at the end of the video. This may feel like I'm ranting at the game. And maybe I do a bit, but I rant about the game out of love. Because I want more than anything for Blizzard to be the well-respected company again. To put Overwatch back where it used to be, on top, and at a point where everyone likes it. Everyone enjoys playing it, they like what Blizzard's doing. And the Blizzard, they are trying. They are trying. They may not make the best choices, such as with the Sombra rework, but that only got announced a few days ago. As of recording this, I haven't tested it out. I don't know if it's good. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what it's like. Blizzard will make a few mistakes, yeah. But they do care for the game, and I care for the game. Where are we at? Oh god, with that late in already. Okay, time to wrap this up. So, general summary, I still enjoy playing Overwatch, and I want nothing more than to see Overwatch back at the top where it used to be. Having not just the game liked, but Blizzard as well, and for the fans to actually like the changes that they make. And think, wow, well done Blizzard, you've really pulled that out the bag, we're all impressed. But without further ado, let us begin. We now move on to the big edity bit. I hope you enjoy it. When Overwatch was originally released in 2016, it was well received by the whole gaming community. Well, most of the community. And it was a simple 6v6 PvP team-based objective game, with 21 unique playable characters and 12 maps varying 4 different objective modes. The game quickly racked up a massive player base, with nearly 10 million players playing in the open beta before the release, and 7 million playing within the first week of release. So right out of the gate, this was a huge hit with players, getting a pretty sizable amount of people playing the game in just the first week. And although I couldn't find data from earlier than December 2019, the peak player amount stayed up around 14 to 15 million players per month. Then just 7 months after release, and the game would then go on to win the Game of the Year award at the Game Awards hosted on the 1st of December 2016, beating out extremely heavy hitters such as Uncharted 4, Doom and Titanfall 2.
Here it is. The Game of the Year at the Game Awards 2016 is Overwatch.
And just to add ever more success and joy to the people that were playing the game, just a year after the Game Awards, Overwatch would manage to get its own esports category, the Overwatch League.
Shanghai are already on the point.
They pulled them apart, they pulled them to pieces like a pulled pork sandwich, Josh. I don't know what I'm witnessing right now. Seoul Dynasty are crumbling before our very eyes.
Hey, is this going to be a flanking shadow?
They used the cart, they have no idea. They used the cart to get all the way around them with the ice wall. Oh, the shadow! Cloudy, the creativity, the big brain plays. I don't know if it's David Pay or I don't know if it's the Gladiators, but they are making it work. I'll just swing off on the side, goes for the charge, but mistimes it, ends up just charging straight into the wall now. Shanghai Dragons seem to be just in control of the point. They're putting in so much work, so much damage, and Gesture falls. Only a couple of players left, and they've almost got this point already. Shanghai Dragons are just rolling it forward. They have come prepared, they've done their homework, they've drank their milk, Josh. And they're coming for that second checkpoint.
Through the next few years, there were constant updates with events, each with their own game modes, maps and skins, that were earnable through loot boxes and playing the game. New heroes were getting added, which would further your experience and offer a fresh, new way to play the game. So with all of it combined, spectacularly designed beautiful maps, fun and likeable original characters, each with their own personality and bit of lore that secures them to the timeline, sometimes accompanied by a cinematic, which, might I take the time to add, were absolutely phenomenal. Both from a storytelling and animation perspective, they were pure artwork. Being able to have that much emotion and story behind a 7-ish minute cinematic, not just introducing more lore into the game, but further expanding the characters that are in them and showing us what they're like, how they behave and how they change. It is truly beautiful, but I'm getting distracted. Also yearly events that brought new game modes to keep people having fun and enjoying themselves, and even smaller events where you could unlock a character skin for free just by winning games. Now just like anything, of course there were some issues along the way, but we got through them. It was easy to see that this was a development team that truly cared for their game and their community. On the 1st of November 2019, the Overwatch community was shown the 0-hour cinematic, an announcement for the future release of Overwatch 2. Little did the community know that this was the last new thing they'd be getting for a long time. But a new announcement for something big was exciting, a whole new game. No one knew what to expect. All we had was the cinematic. Null sector robots, new character designs and combo abilities? Perhaps a big co-op PvE game? perhaps more themed around the lore of Overwatch. The hype was up. Everyone was excited, looking forward to something that would take this great game even further. But people quickly started to catch on to the fact that there was very little being added to Overwatch in terms of exciting events with something new to keep the people interested. In my opinion, Echo was the last exciting thing to happen to the game, because the major events just weren't that interesting anymore. Only adding a few new skins and that'd be it. One of the last events that Overwatch got, there were only 2 legendary and 3 epic skins. Not very interesting, and definitely not enough to keep people interested. But it was okay, because they were spending all their time and resources on creating Overwatch 2. But since Overwatch 1 wasn't getting anything new, more people started going to other games such as Valorant and Apex Legends. I personally switched to Apex Legends around the time of Roadhog's Pachimari challenge, occasionally visiting Overwatch to see if they had added anything new, and they never had. The last ever event of Overwatch was the Anniversary Remix. Surely they would do something big for their anniversary. Now, while other people might disagree with this, I don't think they did. All that got added were some very clear recolors of some already existing skins. Now, don't get me wrong, although they may have been recolors, they were still extremely good skins. I still rock the Soldier recolor to this day, but it all would have been worth it when Overwatch 2 was released in all its glory. Brand new story, brand new gameplay, new experiences. Once again, the hype was building. We were so close. The launch of Overwatch 2 was rocky, to say the least, with Blizzard experiencing a mass DDoS attack on our servers, with people being both skeptical and annoyed at Blizzard. They were annoyed because obviously they'd been waiting for this for years, and they couldn't even play the game on not just the day of release, but for the first week of release. But not just that, people were also annoyed because they'd shut down the original servers of Overwatch, so Overwatch 1 couldn't be played anymore, which a lot of people thought was because if Overwatch 1 had stayed open, then a lot less people would have switched over to Overwatch 2 upon release, prompting people to express their opinions on Twitter about the company, saying things like, "That seals the deal. I'm no longer a Blizzard fan. I officially will not be renewing my sub next month, nor will I play Overwatch again. I'm going to Activision, where they know how to run a video game company." On the other side of this DDoS attack, people were skeptical, because while it seemed like most people couldn't get in, whenever they tuned into their favourite streamer, or rather any streamer, they seemed to be playing the game with no issues at all, which gave people the impression that this was all fake, and that content creators were getting special privilege. Yeah, that's why all the content creators are playing fine with no issues. I don't know how Overwatch team wants to get the players back on their side when they're like this, but while it seemed like a few streamers and content creators were getting in to play the game, that just wasn't the case. For a lot of streamers and content creators weren't able to play the game either, and if they did get in to play the game, then it was not for long before they'd get kicked out and forced to wait back in the queue with everyone else. But even after people started getting in, things weren't all they were hyped up to be. Things looked familiar, a bit too familiar. It almost appeared as the same game, just with some small changes. The lighting on the maps were slightly different, a few hero changes, a shop and a battle pass, and not a lot else really. Was this really all that we'd been waiting for? What Blizzard considered a new game, most other developers just called a big seasonal update. All the major gameplay was exactly the same. As for the other things, there were no more loot boxes, so no real ways to earn base and event legendary skins, just for playing the game. They had to be bought with real money. They'd gotten rid of player progression. No more levels, except just showing you where you got to before the game release. endorsement level now meant even less, and even when I'm writing this in the opening weeks of Season 6, it still has no purpose whatsoever, except to give me a little bit of bonus Battle Pass XP whenever I endorse 2 players after a match. Weapon charms and curiosities got added, purely just as a filler for the Battle Pass, and on the topic of the Battle Pass, cheaper than most, but not renewable, so you don't get the coins in there to then purchase the next one. But other games like Valorant have that, so it's not that big of a deal. Then there's the biggest negative thing about the Battle Pass, the locked new heroes, which gives the player the choice of either buying the Battle Pass with real money for an instant unlock, or getting to level 55, which has now been reduced to 45, but the point still stands. To which Blizzard have given the following reasons for. 1. Heroes are the most engaging content in the game, so money. 2. Most players have their playtime on 2 or fewer heroes, so having 34 out of 35 heroes won't matter. Yeah, I don't believe that at all. I'm not denying the existence of one-tricks, but to say that the majority of players only play 1 to 2 heroes, I think is just blatantly untrue. And talking about the characters that people are maining doesn't mean anything in this argument. If there's a player that only plays a few heroes, they're still going to want to play the new character because it's new content, as well as the chance the new character does become their new main. And this last one isn't a Blizzard reason, but it's still pretty obvious. FOMO, fear of missing out. If you see someone in a game playing the new hero, you're going to feel like you're missing out on content just because you haven't spent money on it. On top of this, Blizzard know that you're going to run out of patience before you get to tier 45, and you're just going to buy it for instant access. And this is proven more by the fact that Blizzard say that they were originally intending to put the hero at tier 80. Everything I've said about the release has been negative, but it wasn't all bad. Here's a few of the things that they did do right. Mythic skins. Absolutely genius idea and genius execution. A character skin that can be customized. Custom select animation, highlight intro, weapon sounds, and voice effects. You can tell that care got put into these skins, and in my opinion were a very fitting reward for completing the whole 80 level battle pass. 3 new heroes right off the bat, Junker Queen, Sojourn, and Kiriko, with more to be promised along the way, especially support and tanks considering damage players already had more characters than both support and tank together. Cross progression. All skins and progress that you were collecting on different platforms got merged together, reuniting people with their long lost skins from another console. For me, that was LEGO Bastion. We got a new game mode added, Push, which admittedly wasn't a particularly liked game mode, but at least it was something new and different to play. It had become free to play, which is both the gift and a curse depending on who you are. If you were fresh to Overwatch, then you got to play for free. Amazing, no one can complain at that. But if you were already playing Overwatch, then it was a curse. £30 or $40 right down the drain straight up, and very little compensation. But what did the Overwatch 1 players get? Access to all the heroes immediately, which I'm not sure why they added that as a bonus, because locking heroes was only to give the new players less options so they weren't overwhelmed by every character at once, and could learn a few before unlocking more. But Overwatch 1 players have already been playing for ages. They already know what every character does. When this applies to Kiriko, Junker Queen and Sojourn, most of the people I know that play Overwatch bought the Battle Pass anyway, and even if they didn't, then they could have unlocked them in less than half the season. Lastly, 2 not great epic skins for Doomfist and Sombra. Some people would say, but they let you keep all the skins and other cosmetics from Overwatch 1. Yeah, they did. But Blizzard getting rid of all those cosmetics that people have earned and bought from the years would have caused a riot. So I don't really see that as much of a loyalty reward. Oh yeah, and I nearly forgot. We also got a player icon. So overall, not worth the 30 to 40 quid that I spent on it. So Blizzard did a few things wrong and people were sad about it. With the DDoS attack from launch, which they didn't have any control over happening, so you can't really blame them for that, to some questionable decisions about locking the character behind a paywall, or a long grind that's made to wear people's patience down so that they buy it. But it all would have been worth it when we get to the big PvE mode that we were promised, with big skill trees and exciting co-op missions. It's going to be great fun. Blizzard cancelled the big PvE game mode because they said it was too much work. It was at this point that all Overwatch 1 players' hearts sank, because this big PvE mode was the reason that they had made Overwatch 2 in the first place, or so they say. Now, I say Overwatch 1 players' hearts sank specifically, rather than everyone, because Blizzard had near enough abandoned Overwatch 1 to work on this. So the game had nothing new for years, just for Blizzard to give up years later. All that work for nothing, abandoning Overwatch 1 for nothing. People like to say that the porn that was made using Overwatch characters kept the game alive, and maybe they were right. Now if you can't tell already, myself and many other people think that this was the wrong thing for Blizzard to do. You don't work on something for years just to scrap everything because it's too hard and takes too long. I'm not a game developer, and I imagine it's not easy, but surely scrapping something you've spent years on is not a good idea because of the amount of wasted time and resources that you've already spent on it. If you want to make something as good as it could possibly be, then spend a little bit longer on it. People won't mind waiting a little bit longer as long as the end result is good. I said, or so they say, to the big PvE being the reason for Overwatch 2, and while that is what they said is the reason because of the new engine, I've always had another theory. Microtransactions. That is the hot new thing going round with games now. Rounds of money from just making their game free to play and adding in a shop with skins and battle passes. My theory is that they decided to cancel PvE before they even released Overwatch 2. They did not make Overwatch 2 because of PvE. They just wanted a way to make more money from it. Because the only way to make money from Overwatch, apart from buying the game, was loot boxes, which was not making enough. So add a shop and a battle pass, and you have a reliable source of income every season. The recent Season 6 invasion missions further prove my point, as the missions that we would have gotten for free are now paid. And we don't know for how long we're going to have access to them. Will they still be playable next season? No one knows. I might add, a few people weren't bothered with the cancellation of PvE, because they only saw it as a bonus to the base PvP game. The PvP was the main aspect of the game, so while it was saddening to see the cancellation of it, it wasn't going to stop them playing PvP. Another bit of news that got recently revealed was the cancellation of the Overwatch League, because it just wasn't making enough money, and was spending more than it was making, which, comparing the audience from this year versus the previous year, shows that the interest of actually going to one of these shows has decreased. I am willing to bet a large majority of people are just watching the Twitch live streams just to get the drops, and don't care about the league itself. I still enjoy watching it occasionally, but I guess the overall enjoyment and interest has gone down. Blizzard have already let 50 people in the league staff go, which is a massive amount of people considering the league is a very small sector. As for the teams, all we know is that the team owners will vote to either continue in the Overwatch League under a new operating agreement, or will walk away and receive a $6 million fee at the end of the current season. Now, as I said in the beginning, I absolutely adore Overwatch and want nothing more than to see it back where it used to be. But with the decisions that the devs have been making, it's almost like they're trying to make us hate the game and them. The devs, although they may not show it, truly want what is best for the game and its players. They both love the game and the players, so to see the community reacting like this to the things that they've spent time on must be heartbreaking. That combined with the recent release of Overwatch 2 on Steam, which has become not just one of, but the most negatively reviewed game on Steam. Mostly because the Battle.net launcher didn't have a review option, so it releasing on Steam was a way that the community was properly able to express their frustration with the game, which once again is probably heartbreaking for the devs. So it is now Season 6. They've added a new progression system, which I personally don't really like. Because 1, it doesn't track previous stats, and 2, you don't gain anything from it, apart from some titles that don't matter and some player icons that I'm pretty sure most original people already own. But you can see how much time people have on certain characters. Yeah, but I could do that anyway. It was the first thing that came up on someone's career profile. And on top of that, I don't care how much time people have on characters. If they're experienced with a character, great. If they're trying to learn a new character, great. But time isn't an indicator of skill. I have nearly 1,000 hours on Apex Legends, and I am still garbage at that game. I would have said that just bringing the old progression system back would have been fine, but with no loot boxes anymore, the only thing that they could have offered as a potential reward would have been more Battle Pass XP. It's hard to say how Overwatch can progress forward, apart from listening to fans and what they want. That's why the experimental tab was so good in Overwatch 1. It gave the devs somewhere to test potential hero changes, and have the added benefit of getting responses from all the different ranks that played in it. I'm also pretty sure that there was a PTR a few times for Overwatch 1, which would have had exactly the same impact. As for big events and changes, perhaps recruit a few content creators to help tell the dev team what the people want and what they'll be expecting once something releases. An example of this is the anniversary shop that just dropped. A very good addition for the event. Apart from the people that bought the skins originally with money, premium skins that could be bought with credits that were being awarded by the buckets with event challenges, and awarded by even more buckets with a bug that gave people more randomly. As for myself and a few others, we somehow managed to complete 3 weeks worth of credit challenges in a week, because even though they were still locked, we were still able to get them for some reason. Along with a Junker Queen victory pose that was in the shop at the same time, and a Reaper skin that most people had anyway due to compensation for the bad launch a year ago. But the anniversary shop didn't change during the second week. Turns out those 9 skins were all we were getting for the next 3 weeks. 1 rotation of skins. Now, this story does have a cautiously optimistic ending. They're disabling the credits challenges, but giving everyone 3,000 credits at the start of the next season. But also, more skins. More skins are going to be coming to the credits shop next season. So, maybe the credits shop is going to be a permanent fixture, which would be very good for the players, as it would give the free-to-play players a chance to earn some skins, and give them more of a reason to play the game. But, I say again, cautious optimism. I completely understand that the game has to make money through microtransactions, because they made it free to play. So maybe from a business point of view, the credit shop might not be such a good idea, because people might not be so inclined to pay money for premium skins when they're just going to come back in a few seasons for free. I know this probably just sounded like a rant at Blizzard, and maybe it was a bit. But as I said at the beginning, I truly love this game and I want the best for it so that people can enjoy it as much as I do. Blizzard do care for their game. I see all the jokes about the porn animators working harder than the devs do, but the devs really do work hard to make their game as good as it can be for us. But they just need to do something good. Something that really pays off and gets the community back behind them instead of against them. Thank you so much for watching my video essay on Overwatch 2. I do truly mean that, because I've put a lot of work into this video. Now, I'm well aware that I've probably forgotten things and gotten some things wrong in this video, and for that, I apologise. But if you still enjoyed it, then please consider dropping a like on the video to let me know that you enjoyed.